Swadika, thank you for joining us on Newsline for Wednesday, March 19th of 2014. My name is Sandra Hanutsaha. In today's top stories, the Cabinet has agreed to lift the emergency decree and invoke the Internal Security Act, or ISA. And in business news, stocks in Thailand and Indonesia retreated yesterday as investors cashed in gains in overbought markets. And now on to today's headlines. Bawaniwed Wihan Monastery and the Indian Embassy in Bangkok are jointly holding funeral rites in the style of Vajrayana Buddhism dedicated to the late Supreme Patriarch, His Holiness Somdet Prayana Sangwon. The ceremony began on March 17th and will last until March 25th of 2014, during which merit-making tradition for death practiced by Vajrayana Buddhism will be performed. The public attending the rite will have an opportunity to witness the construction process of sand mandala and the making of the butter sculpture based on Vajrayana tradition at the exhibition area of the Pratamnak Pet Royal Hall in Bawaniwed Monastery. On March 19th, from 5 p.m. onwards, Lama monks will be performing special religious chanting dedicated to the Supreme Patriarch. This will be followed by 3 sets of worshiping dances involving dancing of angels, dancing to get rid of delusion, and dancing of the god of death. The rite on March 19th will be attended by the Ambassador of India, Mr. Harsh Vardhan Shringla, and members of the Thetaphaibuan family, host of the nightly requiem. All events are open to the public. The Cabinet has agreed to lift the emergency decree and reinstate Tuwin Pliansi to his former position next week. According to Deputy Government Spokeswoman Sunisa Lertphakawat, the Cabinet has agreed to lift the emergency decree. Instead, the government will impose the Internal Security Act, or ISA, to control the political situation from March 19th until April 30th, during which the senatorial and MPs elections for the remaining districts will be held. Regarding Mr. Tuwin Pliansi's reinstatement as Secretary General of the National Security Council, or NSC, the government will carry this out within 45 days in compliance with the Administrative Court's ruling. Mr. Tuwin will also be entitled to the same rights and benefits as he had before October 2013. Meanwhile, Lieutenant General Paradon Patanathabut will be appointed Prime Minister's advisor. The government's order transferring Tuwin to be the Prime Minister's advisor will be cancelled during the next cabinet meeting in order for the government to proceed with reinstating him as the Secretary General of the National Security Council within 45 days as ordered by the Administrative Court. The Internal Security Operations Commander ISOC has appointed 7 officials as committee members of the Center for the Administration of Peace and Order, or CAPO, with Labor Minister Chalom Yibamrong as director. Following the Cabinet resolution to replace the emergency decree with the Internal Security Act, or ISA, in Bangkok and parts of its vicinity from March 19th onwards, the ISOC committee has convened a meeting to prepare for the conversion of the Center for Maintaining Peace and Order, or CMPO, back to CAPO. During the meeting, Mr. Chalom, who had been heading the CMPO and overseeing the protest situation, was named director of CAPO. Justice Minister Chaikasem Nitisiri and National Police Chief Arun Sangsingkao were appointed as deputy directors, while Police General Warapong Chiupricha and Lieutenant General Tirachai Nagwanit were named assistant directors. Mr. Tarit Pengdit was given the position of CAPO Secretary General, with Police Lieutenant General Sopon Pisuti Wong to serve as his deputy. Moreover, a total of 24 advisors were selected from various agencies, including the armed forces. With the duty of ensuring peace and order, CAPO will have more than 60,000 security personnel under its supervision. Prime Minister Yingluck Shinawatra has voiced her concerns over the blaze at a dump site in Samut Prakan province, while urging all related units to help extinguish the fire and provide aid for people in the neighborhood. A message was posted on Ms. Yingluck's Facebook page saying the cabinet raised the issue of the raging fire at a large landfill site of Samut Prakan in a bid to follow up the situation and find measures to address the problem. Although the flames were already kept from spreading, the Prime Minister said the days-long incineration of garbage, a large amount of which was industrial waste, had produced toxic fumes affecting the health of nearby residents. Ms. Yingluck stated that the Interior Ministry had been assigned to coordinate relief efforts with other agencies, including the Ministry of Defense, the Ministry of Public Health, the Ministry of Natural Resources and Environment, the Ministry of Industry, and local administrative organizations. Locals in the surrounding areas have been advised to evacuate while face masks and health examinations are being provided. The Premier disclosed that police were investigating the cause of the fire in order to bring anyone responsible to justice. She also pleaded with all sides to join forces in preventing such an incident from being repeated in the future and to formulate measures for efficient garbage management and pollution reduction. The haze situation in Chiang Mai remains critical, with more than 16,000 people having been admitted to hospital because of the pollution. The sky over Chiang Mai City remains blanketed by smoke from forest fires, which have persisted over the area for more than a week. Most of the people going about outdoors were reportedly wearing face masks to protect themselves from the pollution. Visibility remains severely hampered. Of the more than 16,000 patients admitted to hospital so far, 8,078 had heart or arteries conditions, 6,028 were diagnosed with respiratory problems, 1,352 had eye inflammation, and 1,392 persons had skin conditions. In the meantime, as many as 60,000 people have fallen ill in 8 other provinces in the north. Public health officials are preparing to hand out 500,000 face masks to people afflicted by the haze. Locals are also advised to avoid exercising outdoors during the current period of high air particulate matter reading. The Foreign Affairs Ministry has made known that Malaysia is requesting Thailand's assistance in providing vital information on the missing airliner's whereabouts. Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister Surapong Tawichakchaikun said his Malaysian counterpart contacted him on Tuesday to request information on the aircraft's last satellite transmission before its mysterious disappearance on March 8th. The Malaysian authorities have calculated the plane's diverted flight path and determined that it flew past Thailand at one point before contact with the control team was lost. They said Thailand's satellite or radar may have picked up their signal, which will help provide more clues to the ongoing investigation. The latest report suggested that the Malaysian airliner's first turn to the west was carried out through a computer system that was most likely programmed by someone in the plane's cockpit who is knowledgeable about airplane systems. And the Royal Thai Air Force will send the radar information which suggests that the lost Malaysia airliner deviated its path to the Strait of Malacca to the Malaysian government. However, the Air Force does not confirm the detected airplane was the missing MH370. Air Force Commander-in-Chief Air Chief Marshal Parajin Jantong said the Air Force's radar station in the south had detected an aircraft taking off in Malaysia and later turning around passing Butterworth. The plane was believed to head toward the Strait of Malacca, the same speculation as Kuala Lumpur had, the official said. Air Chief Marshal Parajin stressed that further analysis was needed to ascertain whether the plane was the MH370 jetliner. The Air Force chief said if the missing aircraft flew toward Vietnam, Thailand's radar would not be able to detect it. And that's it for the first segment for today. We now take a short break, but coming up next, 20 billion baht borrowed from the government's central budget is ready to be processed in order to pay rice growers. Don't go away. We have the details.
เมื่อมนุษย์ทำลายสมดุลทางธรรมชาติแล้วมนุษย์ก็เป็นผู้ประสบภัยพิบัติจากธรรมชาติร่วมสร้างอนาคตลดภัยพิบัติระดมพลังพลิกฟื้นคืนผืนป่าในทุกชุมชนทั่วประเทศ
Moving forward to the establishment of ASEAN Community in 2015. The Public Relations Department has launched a 24-hour English language satellite TV channel, NBT World. Broadcast in C-band format, viewers can stay up to date on what's going on in Thailand and countries in the ASEAN region. NBT World can be watched by GMM-Z set-top box on channel 194 and PSI set-top box on channel 198. NBT World, Voice of ASEAN Community.
Welcome back. You're watching Newsline, and first up in our business stories, Finance Minister Kittirat Naranong has indicated the 20 billion baht borrowed from the government's central budget is ready to be processed in order to pay rice growers who have been awaiting payment for their mortgaged rice. According to Mr. Kittirat, the money will be transferred to the Bank for Agriculture and Agricultural Cooperatives, or BAAC, so the latter can commence paying the rice growers who have not received money owed to them under the 2013-2014 growing season. Between 150,000 to 200,000 rice growers who received their warehouse receipts before December 9, 2013, will be entitled to money derived from the 20 billion baht amount. In the meantime, Commerce Minister Niwatthamrong Bunsongpaisan asserted the government would be able to acquire enough money from the sale of mortgaged rice to return the 20 billion baht amount to the central coffers by the May 31st deadline. 1,000 sacks of rice kept in storage in a warehouse in Buriram province are missing. The Anti-Money Laundering Officer AMLO is investigating the case. According to Mr. Somchat Soitong, Director General of the Internal Trade Department, a recent inspection found that 3,000 sacks of rice kept in the warehouse in Buriram were transferred to another warehouse without legal authorization, and 1,000 of those sacks are now missing. The missing rice was registered under the government's rice support program for the 2012 to 2013 season. The director said he had already forwarded the matter to the Anti-Money Laundering Office, or AMLO, and other responsible agencies who will be investigating the case and bringing the culprits to justice. He went on to say that authorities had been inspecting warehouses nationwide to prevent any form of corruption in the rice scheme, adding that the inspection results would be disclosed in the next 2 weeks. The Thai Chamber of Commerce, or TCC, believes that the economy will grow by 3% if the political unrest ends within 6 months, and predicts there will be 27.5 million tourists visiting Thailand this year. The Thai Chamber of Commerce and the Board of Trade of Thailand Chairman, Mr. Isara Wongkusongkit, said that economic growth this year will reach 2 to 3% if there is no further violence due to political unrest within 6 months, and if a new government is formed within the third quarter. On the other hand, if the political situation continues and is violent, the GDP will suffer this year. Tourist arrivals are expected to be around 27.5 million, a 3% decrease from the expected number of 28.1 million, although ending the emergency decree will help the tourism industry recover within a few months. Meanwhile, Thai exports are expected to expand to 5% this year, since the production lines have not been disrupted, as long as the border trade remains vibrant and the exchange rate stays the same. Foreign investment, mostly centered on the auto and electronic industries, may be affected if the political unrest continues, which may affect economic growth. However, most of the perceived problems are affecting the tourism and services industries, along with the jewelry industry, shipping, and real estate businesses. Stocks in Thailand and Indonesia retreated yesterday as investors cashed in gains in overbought markets, while most others were range-bound ahead of the U.S. Federal Reserve's policy meeting this week on monthly asset purchases. Late selling ate into early gains of Thai shares, sending the benchmark set index 0.3% lower. Its 14-day relative strength index, or RSI, was 67.6 at the close, briefly breaching 70 earlier, indicating the market was overbought. The Thai market had risen over the past 3 sessions due to hopes about the improving political situation at home. Thailand is lifting the state of emergency in Bangkok, taking a step to restore some confidence as anti-government protests subside. A court hearing on the February 2nd election case today could help unlock the crisis. Meanwhile, Jakarta's composite index, or JCI, dropped 1.5%, extending a modest loss on Monday, with its 14-day RSI ending at 66.6 versus Monday's 76. Shares of Astra International slid 2.9% after a rally on Monday. Philippine stocks rose 1%, helped by selective buying in large caps in a reporting season. Singapore and Malaysia ended slightly higher, while Vietnam fell into negative territory after early gains. And before our next break, let's have a look at the exchange rates and commodity prices.
มนุษย์ทำลายสมดุลทางธรรมชาติและมนุษย์ก็เป็นผู้ประสบภัยพิบัติจากธรรมชาติร่วมสร้างอนาคตลดภัยพิบัติระดมพลังพลิกฟื้นคืนผืนป่าในทุกชุมชนทั่วประเทศ
Forward to the establishment of ASEAN Community in 2015. The Public Relations Department has launched a 24-hour English language satellite TV channel, NBT World. Broadcast in C-band format, viewers can stay up to date on what's going on in Thailand and countries in the ASEAN region. NBT World can be watched by GMM-Z set-top box on channel 194 and PSI set-top box on channel 198. NBT World, Voice of ASEAN Community.
Welcome back to Newsline, and now on to news from the international front. Russian President Vladimir Putin and Crimean leaders signed on Tuesday a treaty making Crimea part of Russia. During a fiercely patriotic speech before the ceremony, Putin described Crimea as an inseparable part of Russia and accused the West of reverting to Cold War containment by trying to stop the Black Sea Peninsula joining Russia. To the Russian national anthem, Putin and Crimean leaders signed a treaty on making Crimea part of Russia. The three Crimean leaders were Crimean Parliament Speaker Vladimir Konstantinov, Crimean leader Sergei Ostanovyev, and Sevastopol Mayor Alexei Chali. They are among 21 officials targeted by European Union sanctions for their role in the takeover of control of Crimea by Russia. They will be subject to EU visa bans and asset freezes. Russia's takeover of Crimea started on March 1st when Putin authorized the use of military force in the Ukrainian region. Crimeans voted overwhelmingly for union with Russia in a referendum on Sunday, which the West said was illegitimate. On Monday, Putin signed a decree recognizing Crimea as an independent state. Iran and 6 world powers will try to make headway toward resolving their nuclear dispute in talks that started in Vienna on Tuesday, with Western officials hoping the challenge will not be made even more difficult by the Ukraine crisis. So far, diplomats say there is little sign that the worst East-West confrontation since the Cold War will undermine the quest for a deal to end the standoff over Iran's atomic activity and divert the threat of a Middle East war. But unity among the powers on Iran may be tested in the meeting of their chief negotiators on the issue in the Austrian capital, with the 4 Western states and Russia at loggerheads over the future of Ukraine. Russia and the West have in the past differed on how best to deal with Iran, with Moscow generally enjoying warmer ties with the Islamic Republic and suggesting Western fears about any nuclear military aims by Tehran are overblown. But Western diplomats said there had been no apparent spillover from the Ukraine situation on expert-level talks between Iran and the powers, namely the United States, France, Germany, Britain, China, and Russia, held 2 weeks ago. A suicide bomber killed 15 people and wounded at least 28 in an attack on a busy marketplace in Afghanistan's northern province of Faryab on Tuesday. Faryab Governor Mohammedullah Batash said it was a busy bazaar day and the market was full of activity when the bomber detonated the explosives. He said the target is unclear. Afghanistan faces security challenges such as preventing hard-to-govern areas from reverting to militant safe havens as foreign forces begin to withdraw. With foreign troops due to end combat operations in Afghanistan at the close of 2014, NATO has been planning to keep a slimmed-down force there to train and assist Afghan forces who continue to battle Taliban insurgents. The country is also preparing for presidential elections on April 5th. And that's it for today's edition of Newsline. For any comments or suggestions, please feel free to email them to us at newsline.nbt@gmail.com. You can also follow us on Facebook by simply typing in NNT, or you can check out our website at thainews.prd.go.th/newsing. Have a great day. I'm Sandra Han Utsaha. สวัสดีค่ะ